Hey guys, it's Calvin, your social realtor. Today we're going to talk about the buyer representation agreement. 3 things you really need to know. What's up guys? So when it comes to the buyer representation agreement, I know for agents it's a very scary thing, and oftentimes they don't even get it signed when they have a buyer, but it's very important, and you know what? Not that complicated. There's 3 things that you really need to know as a buyer, and your agent should be able to notify you in regards to this contract. 1, it's as much for you as it is for them. So they're not tying you down. At the same time, it's an obligation for a buyer agent to represent you ethically and fully. So you want to make sure that when you're working with someone, you know that they're looking out for you. In truth, this was created because before that was done, buyers were getting ripped off by listing agents. And the question was, well, who's representing me? And there wasn't anybody. So the buyer representation was created to help buyers feel secure. Now, within the agreement, there's a few things that you do need to know. 1, there's something called a holdover. The holdover is a period of time after the contract has expired where your agent is still representing you. So let's say on the very last day you saw a property and the next day your contract expired, but you still wanted to purchase it, you technically have to purchase with that buyer agent still. It makes sense, they've done the groundwork. The next thing that you need to know is that there's a portion of the agreement that you have to sign if your contract is going to be longer than 6 months. It's not to say that something 6 months or greater is too long for a purchase, but you do need to know that if you are signing for longer than 6 months, it's an extra acknowledgement that you have to make on the agreement. Typically for me, if the market is steady, I'm doing 3 to 6 months. I know some agents that sign agreements for a year. There's no right or wrong way, but know that you will be obligated to work with that agent during that time frame. The next thing you need to know is if you sign this agreement, you're buying with the agent, that agent is going to get a commission. There's a portion on the back page that says if there's a deficiency in the commission that the buyer is going to pay everything back to the buyer agent. So let's say a typical commission is 2.5% on $400,000. That's $10,000 that the buyer agent makes. If this particular listing, let's say the buyer agent is only making $1,000 from the seller, well, you're going to have to pay as a buyer $9,000. So it's very important that you understand that portion of the contract and edit it if you need to, but make sure that it suits you and that you're knowledgeable. I remember when I bought my first property, I lost $5,000. And this is why I got into real estate, so I could help people like you get informed, and now you are. Those are the big ticket items. The buyer rep is not something to be afraid of if you are an agent or if you are a buyer. So get one signed, start looking at properties and get buying.